Good morning, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to this special CBSE webinar where we have all gathered to look into student well being and holistic development, focusing on the art of parenting. At CBSE, we recognize the role of educators and we also have the idea that it extends beyond academics. We are mentors, guides, and support systems for our students. In today's rapidly changing world, parenting has evolved, presenting new challenges and opportunities. As principals, counselors, and wellness teachers, it is essential to understand these dynamics to foster strong relationships between students, parents, and educators. We have recently launched a parenting calendar for the academic session 25-26 under the guidance of our chairperson CBSE and our secretary CBSE. Now, this particular webinar, so as to say, is just a step forward under the guidance of all our mentors and principals and counselors and experts who would be a part of the forthcoming series. Today, we are privileged to have, as an esteemed speaker, Dr. Ankita Raj, a distinguished author, painter, academic leader, and expert in education and child psychology. As a professor and assistant vice president of RBEF, the foundation of MIT universities, she has a huge plethora of work behind her, which we would be really looking forward as an experience that she would share with us. She's also the founder of Green Heart Products, professor entrepreneurship, also at MIT University, abstract artist on mental health, authored books on parenting, creates many documentaries on social topics, and she's also a spokesperson at events where she counsels women and young people primarily on a range of life issues. She was also a consultant with the Rashtriya Uchtar Shiksha Abhiyan, which is a department of Uttar Pradesh. Of course, if you look into her qualifications, she's a BTech, MBA, and a PhD by qualification. She has about 15 years of experience behind her with her vast knowledge and experience in education and child psychology. She will share practical insights on effective communication and relationship building with children. Please take this opportunity to put your queries and concerns in the chat, and our team will take this up at the end of Dr. Raj's session. Over to you, Dr. Raj, and we are looking forward to this 1 hour with you. All our principals, counselors, and wellness teachers have joined us. We have, you can say, an overwhelming response that we had not even thought of. At least 1,000 have joined us on this particular, you can say, WebEx forum, because we can't have more than 1,000. Definitely, we'll be putting this on our YouTube channel, which will go live. So the people who are not able to come in or join in, or have just moved out for some reason because of technical faults, can always revisit when we'll be putting it on our CBSE headquarter YouTube channel. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you.
And it's amazing to be introduced by you. It's an honor for me. And ये जो topic है parenting and mental health. So I just want to share with everyone. Very good morning to all of you. And I developed interest in this when my elder daughter was 2 years old. So I was doing my PhD, and that time, government के जो workers हैं, आशा आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र होते हैं. This is in Kaushambi, Uttar Pradesh, where it all began. So I started working on that, and it's very close to my heart now. एंड एक चीज मैं शुरू करने से पहले सबसे शेयर करना चाहूंगी दैट देर इज नो राइट और रॉन्ग पेरेंटिंग. हम सब बहुत ही अच्छे माँ बाप हैं, जस्ट दैट कि फ्लॉज सब में होते हैं. सो इट्स नेवर टू लेट टू चेंज द हैबिट्स, एंड ऑफ कोर्स वी आर हियर टुडे टू शेयर एक्सपीरियंसेस. So I'll just share my presentation with you. Yeah. So art of parenting, and of course, you're the best parent. Okay. So to begin with, ये जो फर्स्ट स्लाइड आप देख सकते हैं, ये फोटो, ये गूगल जेमिनाई से ली गई है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस ना. अब मेरी जो बेटी है वो बोल रही थी, आई होप आई एम ऑडिबल नीति, because I can see that
many audible. You're
Okay.
audible, ma'am.
Some participants are writing on chat. Anyways, so coming back to this, Google Gemini artificial intelligence की जो दुनिया आ रही है, हम उसमें रह रहे हैं, and how to sensitize our children. Like it's so easy to generate pictures with artificial intelligence. तो बच्चों को हम handmade drawing की अहमियत कैसे समझाएं? सो इसके लिए मैं अपनी लाइफ से एग्जांपल देती हूँ. मैंने अपनी बेटी को कहा दैट रैंडम स्केचेस आप जनरेट कर सकते हो गूगल जेमिनी से, एंड देन यू कैन ड्रॉ इट. So the first command she gave it was generate a picture of a dinosaur eating chips. And she got so excited when the picture came and she drew it. So about 15, 16 random sketches she drew. So why I'm sharing this is because see, दुनिया बहुत बदल रही है आज की डेट में. हम जब छोटे थे हमारे पास इतना एक्सपोजर नहीं था जितना आज के बच्चों के पास है. तो उनसे चीजें छुपाने की बजाय हमें उन्हें सिखाना चाहिए कि सही तरीके से कैसे यूज करें हम चीजों को. सो हम पेरेंटिंग पे आज कल इतना फोकस क्यों कर रहे हैं? बिकॉज अनफॉर्चुनेटली न्यूज में हम सुनते हैं दैट बच्चे नाइफ ले जा रहे हैं, देर इज अ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट इन सम कॉर्नर, बॉम्ब थ्रेट्स के मेल्स आ रहे हैं, देन जुवेनाइल ऑफेंडर्स है. सो समहाउ एज पेरेंट्स हम लोगों को डर लगता है कि प्लेसेस आर नॉट सेफ आउटसाइड होम. सो यही सब हमें मिटिगेट करना है, कम करना है और एक अच्छी सोसाइटी बिल्ड करनी है. सो दिस इज अ वेरी फेमस फाइंडिंग कि हमारी जो खुशी है वो डिपेंड करती है साइकोलॉजी पे और पर्सनालिटी पे. ये तीनों एरियाज बहुत स्ट्रांगली हार्ड वायर्ड हैं. So psychology is the scientific study of mind and behavior. मैं भी MA साइकोलॉजी कर रही हूँ out of interest, just for your kind information. So coming back to personality is dependent on 5 things at your fingertips: attitude, behavior, cognition, dress, and etiquette. Attitude is like सुबह हो गई, oh my God, आज फिर से स्कूल है, आज फिर से ऑफिस जाना है. एक तरीका ये है सोचने का. एक दूसरा तरीका ये है सोचने का दैट वाओ, सो मेनी थिंग्स टू लर्न, इट्स अ ब्राइट न्यू डे. बिहेवियर हम इसका एक एग्जाम्पल के साथ समझाती हूँ. जैसे ही कोई बच्चा हमारे पास आ जाए, बहुत जिद करने लगे, मम्मी ये है, पापा ये है, दिस दैट, ये चाहिए मुझे, ये करना है. सो व्हेन दे काइंड ऑफ इरिटेट a lot, it's not that the child is irritating, it's just that we feel irritated. Child is behaving themselves. So what do? Either we shout at them, or we just go away somewhere, take a break of 2 minutes and then come back to it. So the action that we take comes in behavior. Then third is cognition. Cognition is something, our wisdom, our intelligence that we have, right? For example, in many parts of India, the custom is there that, children have to touch the feet of the elders or just maintain silence when elderly are talking. And they had a different level of, they have a different level of experience, which probably the youngsters do not have. So getting empowered to differentiate between the right and wrong is where cognition comes in. Then, of course, dress. For the males, I can say that, wearing sports shoes under a formal suit, it will not look appropriate. For women, if we are going to office and if we are appropriately dressed in an Indian attire, then of course we are going to get more respect. It depends where else we go. Suppose we are going to a club for a partying, then, our dressing sense will be different. So, and last is etiquette. That is when, suppose eating with the mouth open. example. So personality depends on these five things. And as parents, I won't say parents, many people here are parents and teachers and elder siblings, of course. So I'll use the word caretakers for children. So as caretakers, we want our child to have an amazing personality, right? This is something which is not only taught in schools, but also children pick it up at home because they learn more by observing. So, this, like what I said, that we first need to understand our own parenting. This has been said by a UK based psychologist, Philippa Perry. First, we need to understand ourselves that as to why we are the person that we are today. If we are able to understand that, then we'll be in a better position to empower the children to become the people we want them to be. I'll introduce you to a next finding here, which says that 50% of happiness is genetic, 10% is related to the environment that we are living in, and 40% of our happiness is in our hands. We have the power to change it. It totally depends upon how we perceive things, how we respond, how nice we are to ourselves and others. So, this is a question which I would want all the participants to take a moment and think and feel. So, how do you feel when your parent shouts at you, lies to you, doesn't understand you, hugs you, or appreciates you? You get the feeling, right? So, this is exactly how a child feels. Now, sometimes we feel that the child is arrogant and is not listening to us at all. Why is that so? I totally believe that that's because the child has never been a parent before. That child has never been in our shoes before. So the situation is different here, but what is common is the feelings that the child is feeling angry and sad, and even we feel angry and sad at various situations. So, what we need to do is to handle the situations well, to basically understand the feelings of ourselves and also others. Here, I'll use the word empathy. There is a very famous adage, it says, put yourself in the shoes of others, and then you will understand well what they are going through. So, this is something that we should follow on a day to day basis. So, the best way to explain your point of view to others is via feelings. Now, why I have written it in the fill in the blank way is because you can just play this fill in the blank with your students. So, all the feelings, like I said, are universal, situations differ. And yes, even when the parents were of our age, they had much less exposure. Like I said in the beginning of the slide, today there is artificial intelligence all around us. So, these are four things which children learn from. As you can see, subject taught, the tone, words used, and actions done. What we need to do here is be clear about the subject we are teaching, but also be open to learn, because even children have different point of views about things. So we learn a lot from them. Second is that we should never shout, really. Raise your voice, but I wouldn't say really raise your voice in that yelling sort of tone. Stay calm and disciplined. Talk positive and use good words, good sentences, good words like thank you, sorry, please, whenever appropriate, and follow a good body language. When you, even at home, when you are sitting in front of your child, sit decently, because the child is learning from observation. So this is a little snippet I want to give you about child psychology, or rather, I would say their thinking pattern. So children ignite in parents their feelings of childhood. Like for example, we tell the child to eat lunch at 2 o'clock. Child says, "Okay, fine, I will." Then later on, it is 2:15, 2:20, and the child is adamant upon not eating the lunch. We feel very angry that, why are you breaking your promise? We feel angry. So this anger is not because the child has done a small thing of not having lunch at 2 p.m. We are feeling angry because when we ourselves were children, and we broke the promises that were made to our parents behaved in a very negative way. So, to repeat the sentence, children ignite in parents their own feelings of childhood. So, for this, the best is that we should take a pause and think about our feelings. Is it really the small little thing which the child is doing, which is making me feel frustrated? And trust me, most of the times the answer is no. It's not the child, it's just my mind and the way I'm taking things. So, coming to point number two, whatever we say becomes the inner voice of the child. Here, I'll talk about a story. In school, we all teach about good touch and bad touch. But recently, in a school in Noida here, it was raining heavily. The child was going to climb the bus. So, as soon as the child raised the foot to take the first step, the child got disbalanced. And the bus conductor was a male. The child was a female, of course. Bus conductor was a male. So, he just happened to take the child in his lap, just supported him from falling. And the child had been told about good touch and bad touch, and she created a scene. The small little girl, she started shouting around that, this person did bad touch with me. So in this case, it is not the child's fault, it is actually the way we are treating them. We need to tell them the difference between good touch and bad touch, but also empower them to differentiate between the right and wrong. As in, when the touch is good, when the touch is bad. If someone is trying to save you, then the touch may not be bad. So the child has to be told that it's your intellectual mind and you decide what to do. Now, when I'm saying child, I don't mean only a 2-year-old. You can talk like this from as soon as the child turns 2 years old till the time child is 40 years old. It applies to everybody. So, children are very imaginative. If we say the sentence that room is dirty, they will imagine dirt. And if we say the sentence that, room looks good when it's clean, then they'll imagine cleanliness. So, we have to be careful about the words that we use. We call the child troublesome, or we say you are active and curious and inquisitive to learn about things. We have to be watchful about the words which we use. Like, just saying someone, you're not listening to me, then the child will grow up to believe that, yeah, I don't listen to others. But if I talk to the child and say that I like it when you cooperate with me, then the child will grow up and think that I am a very cooperative person. So they tend to think good about themselves. Attitude is everything, because even for not just for kids, even for us professionally, what a boss says, many a times we don't like it. But sometimes, we have to think over it that, okay, was the feedback constructive? If I take it in a positive way, is it going to do me good? It's totally upon how we take things. So we should nurture a positive attitude within, not just in workplace, but also at home. because you see the children at home or in school, they are the future workers of India. Future of the country will be in their hands. So how will the society be, how will the society become better? It's of course when we start training these people even from home. So we should lead by example, and of course discuss the taboo issues, which we do not mostly talk about. I mean, I have seen cases when studying something in biology in class 8 or 9 is like a big issue for them, and there's giggling happening between the boys and girls. So why is that so? If the giggling is happening, that means that the children are not really accepting what the changes are happening in the body. They have to be told that, you're going to have a hormonal change. You'll be attracted to the opposite gender, which is completely normal. But then you decide whether you want to fall in a love trap, in this attraction trap, or study and make your career. And the children make associations and learn. Of course, if they do something good and we give them a small reward like a hug or a chocolate, or make food of their choice, or play 1 hour sport with them, this is called positive reinforcement. So they will actually associate that if I do this good behavior, I'll get something positive in return. So, yes, we should also praise ourselves, as in while praising the child, if you're doing something good. For example, I'll give a situation here. It happened a day before yesterday. My daughter is 8 years old, and we were just having this kind of argument. I returned home from office, I was feeling tired, and then, as a mother, I was actually tempted to hit her, give her a little slap on her face. But then instead of hitting her, what I did was I hit the pillow badly with full force. And my anger also came out, my aggression came out, and finally she also started smiling. And then I said, I am proud of myself because I showed my anger in a positive way. I did not hit you because hitting is not in my rule book. So, we both hugged each other, and things ended on a good note. So then later I said, I am feeling very tired and I need some me time. So could you please leave me for 15-20 minutes, and then we'll play some game together? And she agreed. So children learn concentration while playing. When I say this, I'm talking about a 4-year-old child which is just playing a game of blocks. So when we want the child to stop doing what they are doing, we should give warnings. Like in school, what we do when the period is about to get over, we say, okay, finish your work, last 5 minutes left, right? So even at home, suppose a child is watching some video on the mobile phone, so we should never snatch the phone away from the child. Instead, we should just give them a little gentle warning that, okay, last 2 minutes you have the phone, and then we are going to have lunch. And last is, everyone wants hard work to be appreciated. Of course, we all can feel it. So when a child comes up with a drawing to you, then don't say good drawing or bad drawing, because if you say good drawing, okay, do you think the child will be motivated to make something better? No. So just say what you see. Like in this drawing, which is visible to you on screen, I'm using the colors blue. Oh, like for example, I'll just say to the child, oh, the colors I can see are orange, red, like tinge of green, purple, blue, and the sun looks smiling to me. Okay, so when I talk like this, the child goes into a mode of introspection. They don't go by good drawing or bad drawing. They actually appreciate the efforts that they have put in to make the drawing. So always make it a point to say what you see. This is something I said before. Children observe and learn more. So, for example, if we tell the child to touch the feet of elders, and we are the ones who are actually insulting our in laws or parents or senior bosses, then how can we expect the child to respect us? They will think that, okay, fine, you can do wrong, so even I will do wrong. And if we sneak out, so even the child will sneak out tomorrow if we sneak out today. So instead of, like, there are situations when we have to go, the best is to be honest, tell them where you're going. They might just feel bad about some moment, but then get over the bad feeling after a while and leave it in excitement to look forward to. Like, I'm going for half an hour and then we'll come back and play the game of Sudoku or play Ludo. So on this screen, there are some suggestions to talk. First 2 points, that is, start your sentence with I and talk through your feelings, is something which everybody should imbibe in their day-to-day life. I'll give an example here. My husband was in office. So I called him twice or thrice, and then he was busy, he never answered. So when he returned home, I told him, "You never answer my calls." So he replied. He said that I was in office, I was doing my work. Am I supposed to do the work or listen to your calls? And after a few days, after I read some books on psychology, then I created the scene again. I knew my husband is in office. I called him 3-4 times, and when he returned home, I changed my sentence. I said that I feel bad when you do not answer my calls. So immediate reply that came was, I'm so sorry, I was busy with so many things. So in the previous case, when I said you never answer my calls, it was like a blame game. And in the second case, when I said I feel bad when you don't answer my calls, I was talking from my point of view, which he appreciated. So we should ask open-ended questions to the child, like describe your experience. Listening, of course, is the most important communication skill. Then we should acknowledge the feelings, like when we are feeling sad and stuff, we have a shoulder to cry on. We talk, they listen to us, they hear us out. We feel so cool about it, right? So suppose there is a case of siblings and they're fighting, then really he broke your toy, you're feeling sad. You just have to say this. This will help in the normal mood development of the child. If you say that, oh, fine, go tell your sibling, no, he did bad or you did bad, why do you guys fight, this, that, then you're being judgmental. I recently went to Haldiram factory in Noida, and there was a very nice quote written there. It said that when we make mistakes, then we are lawyers over our mistakes. That, why we did this and what made us behave the way we did. But when other people make mistakes, we basically become judges. So we should avoid being the judge, just hear them out. So instead of shouting, just go ignore, like the old adage goes, ignorance is bliss, calm down and come back. So there's a thin line between encouraging and forcing to do something. Rather, we should just talk about the pros and cons of things. And this is a very common thing, we come home and kids trouble us by saying, okay, kids don't trouble us, they just want to spend time with us. I'll correct myself here. We feel troubled that, come play with me, play with me, play with me, and we want to take rest. So in such situations, instead of denying to play with the child, you can just go play with the child for 2 minutes and then they'll get busy on their own. And there's another thing, when the child is going on saying that I'm getting bored, I'm getting bored, I'm getting bored, what to do? Then in such cases, just take them for a walk in the garden, in nature. They'll find something exciting to do there. So if you have bad habits, as an elder into smoking, into drinking, or any other bad habit like watching excess of TV, suppose, then just accept it. No need to hide from the child, because if we hide our bad habits from the child, then they will also hide things from us. So it's better to be open about it, and instead of saying that I will not change it, just say I am trying to change my bad habit. And I've seen many moms feeling guilty, many working moms, that I'm in my office entire day and I don't give quality time to the child. So spending 24 hours with the child is not quality time. Just half an hour without judgments, maintaining eye contact, and without phone, it's good. You can read together, play together, show good manners, etiquettes at home also. By doing this, you are helping the child develop their personality. Now, you can have general rules at home, which are not only for the child but for you as well. Like, have desserts after main course. Suppose there are two children at home and they are playing, then there can be a general rule like if one person cries, then we change the game. Then there can be a general rule like no name calling. Like suppose I've seen a little plumpy child will be there, and the child will be addressed as fat so by the friends. So if you say fat so, that is actually body shaming. Or if you say, oh, she's a girl, then it's a gender shaming. So we can have a general rule like no name calling, no gender shaming. Then explain the pros and cons of everything. Like instead of saying, okay, take up science and do engineering, these are the benefits. Or you can take up science and go do masters in physics. So these are the benefits, and explain the cons as well. Let the child be empowered enough to decide what they're going to do. And we don't like surprises. I mean, just imagine if our distant relative comes at the door at 4 a.m., knocks around with the full bag and baggage, they are there. So, of course, we are going to feel bad, right? So, same thing happens with the child. When they see guests all of a sudden at home, then they don't know how to behave, and we feel that they are being very disobedient. So to avoid such situations, just tell the child who is coming home or where we are going and what kind of behavior is expected from them. Then the last point, maintain balance between healthy and unhealthy. This is, as a child, I love to eat sugar. But now with the growing age, I cannot really eat so much of sugar. So from here only, I realized that in my childhood, had I known that I should maintain a balance between healthy and unhealthy, I think my eating habits would have been much better right now. So I have to make an extra effort to change them, which should not be the case. Okay, so here are some more sentences. I am listening. Okay, when we don't really want to talk, then, oh, okay, acha, then these short cues really work. So suppose a child is coming and asking 10, 20 questions, then we can just tell them to write them down and we'll talk later because I'm feeling too tired right now. I need some rest. When they do not want to eat the food, what's in front of them, then instead of forcing them, we should ask them how to make the food tasty. Like suppose plain rice is there, the child doesn't want to eat it. How to make it tasty? Okay, add some salt to it. Otherwise, you can club it with the chips and eat. So normally when we ask, when we take one dress to the child, they'll refuse to wear. And when we take them to the cupboard, they get confused which dress to choose. So giving two options to the child to choose from over anything is very helpful. So, firstly, even we should learn to say sorry. We should also share our bad stories with them. We should talk to them about how substance abuse ruins future. Substance abuse, by that I mean drugs. So, let it not be a taboo. issue. And you need to lose weight is something bad to say, because the child will feel, that, okay, I'm a very plumpy person. So I believe you must work towards a healthy weight. So healthy weight is something what the child should grow up to believe with. So here there are a few more sentences. So cricketers are also made to play hockey. It's okay if the child wants to do 10 things. That's okay. They are just doing self exploration, and with time, they'll realize what's good for them. And when parents get into fight, then children think that, it's because of them, which is not the case. So every time parents fight, we need to tell them that we were fighting because of our bad moods and not because of you. Now, third point is, I think all of us have gone through. We used to wonder as children, how were we born? So even now, kids think, how were we born? I remember when I was a child for like 5 or 6 years, I was angry with my parents because they did not take me to their wedding. So here comes the question of curiosity. Children are curious to know how they were learned, how they were born. So we should use age appropriate words with the child. Like we cannot use the word intercourse with 10-year-old child. So instead of saying that intercourse, we can say mummy and papa make love, and that's how children are born. And the curiosity ends, the child will go and do something else. So this is specifically we should tell the teenagers to study, like I said before. Then the best way of punishment is not to, stand in the corner with your hands up or become a murga in that chicken position, I mean. So the best way is to take some fun activity away from the child when they do something wrong. Then they will actually feel that, yes, I have made a mistake. And it's important to teach the child to be spiritual, because there has to be somebody in the world to take care of you. So that gives you a self motivation and inner strength. And it's okay to accept your failures. And of course, please share your bad stories also, because, this is going to empower the child to actually think what can happen with them. And last but very important, when the children demand so many things, we just say, I don't have money. When we say, I don't have money, the child will think, oh, we are such poor people. We don't have money. We don't have money. How are we going to do this? And the parents are spending so much money on my education and things like that. So instead of that, you can say that I am saving money to buy you all this stuff in future. When you do this, you're actually teaching a child financial management. So you can celebrate important days at home too, like on World Doctor Day. Suppose you can do the role playing of a doctor. You can celebrate the World Firefighter Day, and they will be sensitive towards all this. Then discuss the monthly bills, teach financial management, dress up well, and have a dinner party at home too. Because the child should not believe that, okay, when we go out with friends, we dress up and parties happen only with friends. Parties can happen in the families also. Now, this is an activity. Draw your face, look at the caricature, and you will laugh. Please try it. And in my MA psychology syllabus, I read this, success depends upon late, luck, ability, task, difficulty, effort. Now, if we look at the picture on the side, the butterfly, it is the luck of the butterfly to find a flower to drink the nectar from. Now, second, it is butterfly's ability. Will it be able to drink the nectar from the flower? Then third comes task difficulty. Will be able to drink the nectar from the flower in the presence of the bird. Sorry, butterfly. Will the butterfly be able to do it in the bird's presence? And last of all, effort. How much effort the butterfly puts in to complete this activity. So this applies to all the people from all the backgrounds of all the ages. Success depends upon late. So these are some mindful exercises for you. Inhale, exhale, just take a deep breath, especially when feeling angry. Inhale from nose and exhale from mouth. So why I told you I am sharing this with you, this is not directly from me, but yes, from a psychologist. So this is what they prescribe to their patients. Then the grounding exercise is like, suppose you are sitting on a chair and your mind is wandering, you're thinking about what's going to happen after 2 days. Then immediately hold the chair tight and push your feet towards the ground, just to remind yourself to come back to the present. So, with the favorite smell, you can spray perfume on handkerchief, keep it in your pocket. With plan activities, use reminder on Apple phone and use the task app, use Google Calendars. Educate yourself. Education is the problem to all. Education is the solution to all the problems. I'll correct myself. Then, suppose you work for 20 minutes, then take a break of 7 minutes and come back to what you were doing. This increases your productivity also. Pamper yourself, go get head massage, go watch a movie sometime for the female, go to the parlors, anything. Then at least in a day, 30 minutes, you should have the time to yourself. Do some relaxation activity, play a game, have some me time, learn a new hobby, and show gratitude. Be thankful even to the domestic helpers who are cooking for you. So here there are some more exercises. Sudoku, please start playing that. It refreshes your mind, and it's like when you go to play Sudoku, you go on an incubation period, and then you come back to what you were doing. So keep phone aside while talking face to face with the child. Please do that. Because just imagine how would you feel when your spouse does that? You are saying something and your spouse is looking at the phone. I feel very angry. So we should avoid WhatsApp addiction. Like check the WhatsApp every 3 hours maybe. Then the room lighting important. You know why there are so many courses on interior designing. We should be able to see greenery. If we cannot, we can have green walls or some green stickers or green wallpaper in the room, and of course an artificial sun also. We should have a reading corner or relaxation corner. And please don't get worried about getting wrinkles on the face. It's okay if the wrinkles are coming in. It's okay if you're, gaining weight because of thyroid. Just take care of yourself. You have to get older gracefully. And talk positive. Most importantly, sleep well. So we are coming to the end of the presentation. This is something to be noted. You have to be honest about your mood. Accept your feelings all the time. Honesty is the best policy. Please understand that we are human beings and we cannot make everyone happy at the same time. You know, five fingers of a hand are not equal. So, as a family, we should involve them in whatever we do, share our problems. There'll be lesser misunderstandings and lesser miscommunications later, and others will also open up to you. And we should never compare siblings. You know, even your spouse with the other spouse. Trust me, it's not just about children, it's about human. We feel bad when we are compared with someone. So personal and professional behavior cannot be much different. So try to inculcate to be a nice, kind person at home and office or wherever you are. Then the famous word by rupture and repair, I mean that getting angry is also very normal. Mostly it's famous that mothers hit children. Everybody slaps their child. So accept it. If even if that happens, you end up slapping your child, then instantly just hug them and kiss them. That is the repair part. By doing this, they understand that your love is unconditional. So avoid using mother, father, boy, girl. Whenever possible, please use the word parent, child, sibling. And the anxiety is something that we all feel troubled with, that oh my god, we have to go to office and punch the biometric. What will happen if we get late? So what if the child misses the bus? So you have to answer these questions which trouble the mind. Okay, child will miss the bus, then what will happen? They'll go by car, they'll get late to school. Okay, what if I do not punch the biometric on time? I'll be marked half day. It's okay. Is it the end of the world? No. So always answer these anxieties which trouble the mind. Oh yes, one favorite question for I feel many women feel, oh my God, my mother-in-law is coming tomorrow, or mother-in-laws may think, oh my God, my daughter-in-law is coming tomorrow, and some issues will happen. So just answer the anxiety. What issue will happen? क्या हो जाएगा? Max to max, you are in the same house, so you can be best friends too. And when everything fails, go for open communication. And for open communication, please start your sentences with I, talk through your feelings, and third is acknowledge the feelings. Just 3 rules you should take care of. So, here I just want to remind you the Panchtantra story of hare and tortoise. In today's world, we have to decide when to be the tortoise and when to be the hare. And very importantly, I want to share this with all of you, that earlier when I was a child, I heard stories and they all were like, okay, the boy and the girl married each other and lived happily ever after in the palace. But now we should modify the fairy tales and tell to the children, okay, the boy and the girl loved each other, but they focused upon their studies, made their professional career, and then after that they got married and lived happily ever after. So little change should be there. So this is a video. Please see.
ये है हमारे मोहन बाबू, जो कई दिनों के बाद शहर में मेहनत मशक्कत करके घर वापस लौट गए हैं। और ये
I'll just take a pause here. It is in Hindi language, but I'll just share here. A father works in city, and father comes back to home and gives a kitchen set as a gift to the daughter, and a bat and a ball to the son. But what happens is, after a day, he sees that the son is playing with the kitchen set and the daughter is playing with the bat and ball. So the mother is like, listen, the situations are changing. Every child is unique. We need to understand that. So I think there's a play problem here. So with this, you can Google it out. It's on YouTube on on UNICEF's page, UNICEF's channel. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. These are my books, 12 books, and in 6 of them, my husband is my co-author, because the parenting is not just a woman's cake, it's both husband, wife are equally responsible. And these are my last 2 books, which I have written about the mental health and personality development of children. So thank you so much, and let's be friends. And I'm awaiting for your feedback also. And thank you for the lovely comments in the chat box.
Thank you, Dr. Anita. It was definitely a very, very insightful session. And more than that, I'm really really happy that we have a very interactive audience also. So, they were trying to pitch in, they were trying to fill in the, queries that were coming in through your presentations. And we do have a lot of questions. So, as suggested, we are at 12:22 for another 10 minutes. We would be taking up some queries. And one very interesting, this thing came from, she's Dr. Neha Sharma, principal APJ School, Noida. She had asked, how can parents balance discipline and freedom to ensure a child's holistic development? Your take on that?
The key to this is open communication, ma'am. Like I mentioned in the slide also, we should be open about telling. Suppose there's a girl and she wants to go out of the house at 8 p.m. So we should be able to not say that, okay, you can't go out. Yeah, okay, you go. Instead of being judgmental, we should share the pros and cons. If you go out, all this can happen. So you please go when I feel comfortable. Right now, I cannot allow you to go. So instead of starting sentence with you, just say, I am feeling uncomfortable, so I'll keep you at home.
Well, that's good enough. Thank you so much. This is one personal question that I have, that you've written so many books, as you mentioned. I think it's about 12 now. So, what was really the motivation of taking up this particular genre to put in your thoughts into words? So, there must have been something, some incident, or some, just you can share it with us and the people here.
Yes, ma'am. There are three actually. The first is my marriage. My husband is from a government background, and I am from a corporate background. So we never had much to talk about. So when the children were born, and I wrote the first book, I decided to make him my co-author as well. So we'll have many points to discuss. So second thing is that when my elder daughter turned 2 years old, I was doing my PhD also, and she started asking me questions like, why is the tree standing outside in the garden, and what is blood, what is oxygen? So we had studied all this in school, but then later forgot with time. So that's when I decided to refer to parenting books, how to respond to her. And third thing is that recently, 2 years back, actually, I was, I had got many crying bouts all of a sudden. And that's when I decided that I need to see a psychotherapist. So I met him and just had some mind depression problem, and then I consulted psychologist. So I felt that there's a social stigma around depression also. Not many people go and consult doctors. So that was one reason I decided to make my personal life peaceful as well.
Fine. Thank you so much for sharing all this. Is there anybody else who's in the panel who wants to put in a query? Because I have a lot of questions on the chat also. I would try to take them one by one. Anybody else who wants to just put in, please? Okay, then I'll take the queries from the chat only. Another query that has come from Minakshi on the chat is, if the child is stubborn and addicted to mobile, he does not pay attention to the study and does not even listen to us. Then, as parents, how can we deal with such a situation?
In such cases, we have to be careful about how to reduce the screen exposure to the child. All of a sudden, if we do that, then it will be unhelpful, because I'm sure we've heard those cases of people going to rehab centers. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. So we have to be a tortoise here. Firstly, be patient. Secondly, accept that, okay, child is interested in watching the video on the phone. In this case, instead of snatching the phone away, just go sit with the child and say, okay, what are you watching? Could we see together? And maybe for 2 minutes, you can see it together. And after that, you can say that, okay, I think we have seen enough of, mobile, and let's do some interesting activity, something else. After 2 minutes, give a gentle warning. And I think if we listen to the child will also listen to us.
Right. I think most of us are also in some form or the other trying these sort of ways to really be a good parent and side by side listen to what they want. Another very interesting question has come in. I think it's from Mr. Devinder. He's asking, some children are very sensitive and find it difficult to adjust with outer world. What additional measures can parents take to support introverted or highly sensitive children on adapting to the outside world, especially of the today's times?
Okay. The first move here should be that we should do some positive self-talk in front of the child. That, I am good, I can do this. Identify the core values like networking, leadership, communication. So, firstly, we have to say, lead by example. So, identify that for yourself. Then we can ask the child about their likes and dislikes. And, learning starts from home. So, slowly and steadily, if we build such conversations, things will change. And I'll just give a suggestion here. Whatever the core values of the child are, means they are creative, they are good in mathematics, just write them down on a piece of paper and stick it so that every day they can see it and they can be reminded of, oh, wow, these are the things I'm good at.
I missed out. There is somebody like this. This is the wonderful answer to the query raised. But for your previous query, also one Anju Mittal, she had said a good suggestion: make screen black and white, switch off the notifications.
Very nice, very
Another
nice.
tool that has been shared in this chat itself.
Yes.
And I am still, I think we have time. I'll just take one or two questions more. How do I handle challenging behaviors? I think these sort of questions are very normal, and I am getting a lot of them. Uh, Handling challenging behaviors, I think each one of us can have a take on it. But, ma'am, what is your take on such a situation? I think challenges behaviors can be, from everywhere. It can be if you are a parent, you'll have to face it. If you are into a job prospects, then you have to look at juniors, seniors, and all other, sort of workplaces also. Plus, our own challenging behavior in our own way also ourselves every day what to do and what not to do. So, any take of yours by your experience on this, ma'am?
Okay, by challenging, I'll modify the word. Suppose a child has lots of energy. Maybe a 7-year-old child has lots of energy and loves to throw things around in the house. So, what we can do for them is set up a sensory corner, like set up a corner with lots of soft toys, and we can ask them to throw them around. And we can be a part of the game too. Suppose a child is there who loves to shout, then instead of telling the child not to do that again and again, because the more we say no, the more they will be tempted to do it. So we can play a shouting game with them sometimes, that okay, let's see who shouts the most. It's just that you are acknowledging their likes, so of course the child will acknowledge your likes later.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a good advice to all of us. And people are here. I think they are acting more as parents at the moment because of the session that we had. We've all gone into a personal zone. We have another query from, I missed out the name. Just give me a minute. It is Monica Doris James, and she's asking, ma'am, how to settle fights between siblings when there is an age gap between both of them.
Okay, for this, we just need to acknowledge the feelings and neither be lawyers nor be judges. Just give them their own space. Like we also want, half an hour to ourselves when we come home. So even the child of all the age, they want their own space. So give them their space, and every child wants their own me time without the sibling. So when one child wants to be alone, let the child be alone. You take the second one and do some activity that time, and only acknowledge the feelings.
Right, and I think it's applicable for each and every fight that is being there, not only siblings, between anybody. Because I heard somewhere, or I read it somewhere. They said whenever there is a fight happening, it is one is into an emotional fight and the other one is into a fight mode. So best is to just the person who's into the emotional scene at that time should let that happen, and the other one should be silent. Later on, it can be worked out. So that's a very good take on it, because between the two of us, if everybody gets into an emotional scene, then that fight can't be, resolved in any way by our own ways also. And if we are really dealing with our siblings, or even in the school, if there are children around and they have some issues, and then the counselors or the teachers or the principals have to take a call on it. So I think that also makes a lot of sense in that perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think we still have a lot of queries, but I have a feeling that we should really call it a day. And maybe in the times to come, we'll have more sessions from you, ma'am. And everybody is just on the chat who's trying to say, yes, this is a very, very wonderful, very simple, very interactive, and very, look forward sort of a session. I would now request Irene Khosla if she can come in and just propose a basic vote of thanks to us, all of
Good
you.
afternoon,
Yes,
everyone.
please, Irene.
On behalf of CBSE, it is my privilege to extend the vote of thanks as we conclude today's webinar on the art of parenting. First and foremost, our deepest gratitude to our guiding force, Sri Himanshu Gupta Sir, Secretary CBSE, for his unwavering support and encouragement in making this session possible. A special thank you to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Ankita Raj Ma'am, for sharing her profound insights and expertise. Ma'am, your guidance has empowered us to better support children both at home and in the educational landscape. Last but not the least, our warmest appreciation for all our valuable principals, counselors, wellness teachers, educators, and all other participants who took out the time to join us today. Your enthusiastic participation has made this session all the more meaningful. This webinar is just the beginning. May it serve as a stepping stone toward more meaningful conversations and impactful actions in the realm of parenting and education. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to see the lovely feedback in the chat section. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. And just in the last, there is a feedback form. Kindly please fill in the feedback form, which also serves as your attendance form. And we would be putting this on our YouTube channel. So the people who want to revisit, or the ones who have not been able to join the forum because of the constraint of the WebEx medium, can please go to our YouTube channel and just have a look and get back to us. The attendance form and the feedback form would also be available for the people who would be watching it through the YouTube channel. So we'll try to have all your feedbacks in line with us. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day.